A lot of pros have been slamming their stems. That is, moving the stem down as far as possible, and by implication, the handlebars. This presumably is for aerodynamic advantage. However, for mere mortals like myself, comfort is more important than outright aerodynamics, and therefore having such a low handlebar position is not ideal. In this video, I want to discuss how to adjust your handlebars in order to get them into the correct position. What that handlebar position is for you, you'll have to determine either through a bike fit or through experience. However, for me, is when the angle of my back is at around about 45 degrees. Normally, this is when my handlebars are 1 to 2 centimeters below the saddle height. In order to get your handlebars at the height that you want, one of the simplest things you can do is just put more spacers underneath the stem. However, that's not always possible because you may not have enough length on the steerer. It is possible to extend the steerer slightly, and indeed I have done that in the past, but only by about 10 millimeters, and where I keep the majority of the clamping area of the stem on the original steerer. You can buy extenders, however I would be very careful with those, particularly if you've got a carbon fiber steerer. Another relatively simple thing you can do is flip the stem over. Most stems are designed so that you can do this. This changes the angle of the stem and it can raise the handlebars. Another easy thing to do is to buy a shorter stem. Now this doesn't raise the handlebars, but it will bring them closer to you and it will give you a slightly more upright sitting position. As on my touring bike here, you can combine all of these techniques in order to radically change the riding position. However, on many modern bikes, like on my gravel bike, the frame, the steerer spacers, stem, handlebars, and the cables are all integrated. So making those adjustments that I mentioned earlier is difficult. For instance, on my Orbea Gain, as you can see here, the stem and the spacers are integrated, although it has separate handlebars. I did try to implement some of the earlier techniques on this Orbea Gain. I flipped over the stem, and in order to make it all fit, I had to 3D print some custom spacers. In the end though, it didn't really work out very well. I couldn't quite get the position that I wanted, and it also looked a bit of a mess. So I put the stem back as it was. I still had the same problem, the handlebars were too low. So in the end, I adopted a solution of buying alternative handlebars. These are the ones that you can see here. These are riser handlebars, and they raise the handlebars about 30 millimeters above the stem position. For me, the position is good, but I would like a slightly shorter stem. In the future, I'll do a more detailed review of these handlebars. If you want to see that, please subscribe and click on the bell icon to get notifications. So there are probably other methods for raising the handlebars or putting them in the correct position for you. However, these are the main ones that I've adopted on my bikes. On my touring bike, I've gone for a shorter riser stem with some additional spacers underneath the stem. On my gravel bike, I 3D printed some extra tall stem spacers and raised the handlebars by several centimeters. And on my Orbea Gain e-bike, I've adopted these riser handlebars. If you found this advice useful, please give it a thumbs up. Anyway, from me, for now, it's goodbye.